It's time for Pod of the Dead. Join us!
Because you're not behind the game today.
Thank you! Thank you for noticing.
Hello and welcome to Pod of the Dead, the internet horror film club that nobody asked for. I am your host, Nicholas, and as always, I am joined with the final girl, Natasha.
Hi! Today, we are going to be talking about the highly anticipated Longlegs of this year. It is an American horror thriller film written and directed by Osgood Perkins. It stars Micah Monroe, Nick Cage, Blair Underwood, and Alicia Witt. It's set in the 1990s, specifically 1993, I believe. And it follows an FBI agent who is tasked with tracking down an occultist serial killer responsible for murdering multiple families throughout the state of Oregon, without having been physically present at the crimes. Cage serves as a producer on this film also, and it's from his company, Saturn Films.
You find yourself going, man, I wish I had more Pod of the Dead. Well, you're in luck. We have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/podofthedead666, you can find us there and get the full videos of our episodes with added content such as Serious Pasta for Serious People. So, again, that is patreon.com/podofthedead666.
Yeah, so going back to where it says set in 1993, that's how it was written. But during the making of the film, Osgood Perkins decided, you know what, it's 1995 because he didn't want pictures of George Bush Sr. on the walls. So he put pictures of Clinton up on the walls because that's the time that gives you what time it is, because it never says what year it is. But
yeah, I had it opposite. Okay, I had my dates mixed up because I knew it was because he didn't want George Bush, but I thought it was the opposite of that. Okay.
Yeah, because there's
two. That was cool.
I like that where it's like there's 2 points in this movie that you get a sense of what year or what time it is. And it's because you've got Bill Clinton on the wall or you've got Richard Nixon on the wall when it's in the past. And I really like that it's just like, there you go. That's all you need. That's visual storytelling. God damn it. It doesn't need to be like October 3rd. 1972, you know, which is good for some things. But what is your history with this film?
Just you talking about it at length before it even came out. I don't think I saw a trailer for it because I don't watch a lot of like standalone TV, and I didn't seek out any trailers. So I've just heard people talk about it kind of through the wind.
Okay. You didn't hear anything about its marketing or anything?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. It was inescapable. Okay. So basically,
I escaped it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Perkins credits Neon for the film's marketing, saying the studio asked early on, do we have your permission to kind of go nuts? And I said, what else are we doing here? Go for it. Do your thing. The film's marketing budget was under $10 million, and it focused on all sorts of digital content and instead of traditional television ads. So like there were billboards with like really cryptic kind of things. It didn't say the name of the movie or anything. It might leave a phone number. You call that phone number and it was a recording of Nicolas Cage, like as the titular character, like being real cryptic and everything. There were ciphers that were published in the Seattle Times. All sorts of different things. Like they went hard, like very akin to like the Blair Witch Project, where it's like,
that's awesome.
We're going to go way hard into it. It's like a guerrilla marketing tactic. And yeah, there were 11 promotional videos that were uploaded to YouTube leading up to the release. The first appearing January of 2024, which didn't even mention the film's title. It got like 30 million views, all this stuff. Like it just like, here, this is this creepy thing. And that's the thing that like, once I saw like the first ads and stuff of this movie, I was just like, what is this? To the point where the first time we saw the trailer for it in theaters, Steph was like, I don't want to see this. And I was like, what? She's
Really?
like, this looks like too much. And the fucking trailers for this are insanely creepy. Like, I can understand where some people could probably feel like that it was overhyped or whatever, because like the marketing of it made it super creepy, which the movie itself is super creepy. But then some people were saying like, it's the scariest movie ever. And then that right there is someone's opinion, right?
Yeah.
If you take someone's opinion as fact, you're going to over like shoot, you know, you're going to be like, oh, it's going to be so scary. It's like, well, it was to that person. So people, you know, I'd seen some people like, it wasn't that scary and stuff like that. It's like you went into it with the wrong expectations, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw this day one, first viewing. I was ready.
I could understand how the ad campaign could add to the suspense of the movie, because then, especially if you're calling a number and you're hearing Nick Cage on the other end,
in that voice,
that would completely immerse me. No, see, I'm not a huge, like, I know we're on YouTube, but like, I don't use a lot of platforms in that manner, and it doesn't like come across in my algorithms. So I missed out on all of that. I only knew of it just from talking about it and knew that it was like a serial killer movie. And that was pretty much the extent.
Now you can go back and check them out and just be like, I really fucked up and missed it.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that cipher on a billboard.
Yeah,
that
like
would have been amazing.
In time, like as it's happening, it's just like, what? Like it just builds such anticipation.
Yeah.
Like I was hyped, but like I wasn't hyped because of like how creepy it was and everything. I was hyped because I'd seen all of Osgood Perkins' films prior. So I was like, I'm in it to win it. I know that this is just going to be so like atmospheric and like dreadful. Like that's what I was expecting, and it does that.
Yeah.
So this came out this year, 2024. So I'm not going to go through like what came out this year and all that jazz, right? But we do have its budget. This came out from Neon. It was co-produced by Nicolas Cage. So what do you think its budget was?
$12 million. I don't think it had a big budget.
You're close. It's actually less. $10 million.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
wow. All said and done, marketing and production value of this movie was less than 20 grand.
20 million, you mean?
Or 20 million. Less than 20 grand. Less than $20 million. That's incredible.
That's 20 million for marketing and production. And then and we can use that number, right? Since we do actually have that information. What do you think it ended up bringing in at the box office?
A lot. I'm going to say 95 million.
Again, you're pretty close, but now you're lowballing. $108.9 million.
I knew I should have went in the hundreds.
Yeah, so this became, I believe, Neon's highest grossing film to this point. Awesome. Everybody that I know that's seen it has liked it to some extent. I obviously on the internet you see, you know, people giving it the highest scores ever and the lowest scores ever and all that jazz. Yeah. But like everyone that I know that's seen it has been like, yeah, right on there. I do know some people that were just like, I don't understand what was going on. And I think that's the, you either understand the movie to an extent, right?
Right.
Because I've watched this movie 3 times now and I'm still picking up on stuff. And I finally came to my conclusion this time of like, oh, this is what happened, without like the internet telling me what they think happened.
Okay, so did you get a different opinion based on what the internet had said, or is it pretty much similar?
I didn't see what I didn't see what I think. That doesn't mean what I think isn't out on the internet, because I didn't look for what people think the ending and stuff means. Okay. But like from picking up on what happens in this movie and everything, and then coming like before the end happened, I was just like, I know what. Okay. I think I fucking finally get it. So yeah, it took me a while. Like I understood like the surface level film the first time I watched it. I was like, okay. Watch it the second time, and I noticed things in the background and stuff. Which this movie is notorious for just so much like not being handed to you. and like so much, I guess, metaphor and foreshadowing that is not obvious.
Right.
So
I think I paid more attention to the background than the foreground in about 80% of this movie, just waiting for something else to happen.
Well, because like I straight up told you that, like, going into it, I was like, since this is your first time watching it, what it's focusing on is not necessarily what you need to be focusing on, stuff like that. So I'm interested to see like what you picked up on and everything before we get into spoiler territory and everything. But yeah, so I've got so much that we can talk about, and I'm really trying to think of things I can talk about without spoiling, because this movie is very new. I had to watch it on Blu-ray. I think, Tasha, you had to rent it. Yep. I did see that possibly next month it's going to end up on like Paramount or Netflix or something like that. So you can gather around the Thanksgiving well, not next month. It would be this month.
Gather around the table.
Yeah, gather around, eat some turkey and watch Longlegs. But yeah, one of the cool things, going back to the marketing, was one of the commercials that they put out there has a heartbeat going on with it, and it's a very elevated heartbeat. It's like basically the soundtrack of the commercial, as it's like, you know, like boom, boom, like showing you like images and stuff. So what that was, the week of the film's release, Neon released a clip allegedly of Monroe's heart rate when she first saw Cage's character, which is the scene where they meet.
Yes.
Okay? So they said that her heart rate was like 170.
Jesus.
Like her heart rate went like
wow.
Like just completely elevated. Now I might be overstepping that, but I swear I saw a number like that.
Right.
Yeah, super crazy. But that's something that I think they did really well with, because they only had Nicolas Cage for 2 weeks for the creation of this. And I'll go into a little more of that. But the first time Mika Monroe's character, Agent Lee Harker, meets Longlegs is actually the first time that she meets Nicolas Cage, like flat out, which I love.
Oh, okay. So there's an added, this is Nicolas Cage, and then there's the character.
Well, and she doesn't know what Longlegs looks like. She doesn't, nothing. So all of that is boom, bang, pow. So we'll give our initial review right now, our initial review score, and then we'll go into spoiler territory. So if this is your first time listening to us, we are Pod of the Dead. We are, as I stated at the beginning, an internet horror film club that nobody asked for. What that means is that we give out homework on the end of every episode, so you can hopefully watch the film and be ready for the next episode, so you can go through spoiler territory. If you do not care about spoilers, you're more than welcome to stick around. But we're going to give our initial score reviews, and then we're going to go into spoiler territory. So you can either let us in, or we're going to just keep coming back. Not once, not twice, but as many times as I like.
Oh, God. Okay. It was good. It was terrifying.
So what's your initial score of Longlegs?
Hearing that in my ears, like I wasn't expecting it. It gave me chills. My initial score was a 7.5.
Nice. Mine was a 9. So that's my initial score this time seeing it. So not my first time watching it. I walked out of there and was like 10 out of 10. Fucking amazing. I'm so jacked.
Nothing could be changed.
But I had but like having like time to like really like settle in it. Yeah, I'm still giving it like a 9 right now. We'll see where we're at after everything, after we talk and everything. So spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning.
If you'd like to be part of our horror film club, make sure to follow us at Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at Pod of the Dead. All of our episodes can be found at podofthedeadorelse.com or wherever you stream music and podcasts. If you have movie recommendations or questions for us, email us at podofthedead666@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Or else.
With that being said, Natasha, would you like to give me that 10 out of 10 review that we have found on the interwebs?
Let me in now, and it can be nice. There we go. It's a little bit better. Nick was the best choice for this role, and he did a phenomenal job as always. He is chaotic himself, but added to that a prosthetic face, longish, unkempt hair, and a creepy voice, and Satanism was just the cherry on top.
Always is.
Nick, Satanism with the cherry on top. Nick is such an interesting man, and the characters he likes to play always feel so authentic, as if he has something in common with each of them. In this case, in my opinion, having a metalhead son somehow helped Nick feel the dark nature of Longlegs' character better. And I loved that. I know people will say that this movie was overhyped, but I guess my expectations were just too low, and that made me love this movie.
Yeah, hype is in the eye of the beholder, realistically. Like, one person's overhyped is one person's just perfect, right? So that's the thing. I guess, like, if you don't really give a shit about like horror films and whatever, but you like whatever you see on TV, and what you're seeing is like The Conjuring and all this stuff, if you go into this movie expecting that, yeah, you're not gonna get what you want. You know, if everyone's saying it's the scariest thing ever, and what you think the scariest thing ever is the last Saw movie or whatever, right? And no shade being thrown, I'm just saying that they're not the same fucking movies by any stretch of the imagination. This movie's way more akin to Seven and Silence of the Lambs, which he straight up was like, you know, this movie is fully aware, like it's pretending to be those films. Like, I love these movies, like, and that's, I keep going back, I love it when someone's just like, yeah, I'm super invested, like I love these things and I wanted to make one.
And I read something that Osgood Perkins said, like, he straight up cheated, in his words, that he wanted people to know that it was like Silence of the Lambs and wanted to leave everything else out because he knew he could get a draw for those Silence of the Lambs people, and then just be like, haha, it's also about demons.
Satan. Fucking just, I don't know, like I can't even put words on it when someone is just like, yeah, I love this stuff, that's why I made this, like the homage of it, instead of being like, this is wholly original, it's like, no, we as a society have gotten to the point where originality is barely a thing, and it doesn't mean trying to ape something because it'll make money, but like aping it in a sense of like, I love these things. Yeah. And I want to be regarded in hopefully a similar light as those movies. And yeah, like the two movies that he kept mentioning were Silence of the Lambs and Seven, and I 100% agree that this like goes in that echelon of films.
And I think if you're hearing back to this is the scariest movie in decades, blah, blah, blah. Also, you kind of have to know a little bit about Osgood Perkins' style, too.
Correct.
I'm thankful that I knew that, because otherwise, I don't think I would like it as much. But knowing his style and how it is so atmospheric, that really plays into like your little background knowledge going into this movie too. Yeah,
you're not going into it expecting jump scares, which he even says, he's like, I'm fucking terrible at jump scares, but there are a couple in this movie and they're like weird jump scares, like when she's opening the card and like is stretching it out, it's like dung, and it's like that wasn't even meant to be a jump scare until I was in the editing room and somebody next to me dropped something on the table and it scared the shit out of me. It's like, oh, that's perfect. So
the only one I can really think of, that one I don't think, it's not memorable at least, but the one where they're in the barn and they open up the floorboard.
Oh yeah.
That was the jump scare to me. Really the only one.
All right. Well, I'll get this bullshit out of the way and then we can really start talking about the film. I got this 1 out of 10 that we found online. This sacrilege. Heresy, I say. These are not the words of Nicholas Brown. All right, here we go. Absolute crap. There is nothing in this movie worth losing time with it. Okay. The trailer was more suspenseful and trapping than the movie itself. I didn't feel trapped. Have you ever felt trapped in a film? I don't know.
Nope.
It's not about a psycho killer, but more about sell my soul to the devil. Nicolas Cage face is barely seen, mostly his voice, but in any way is not Oscar worthy. I don't think anyone's saying that it's Oscar worthy or anything, but also the less you see of him, the better. It kind of reminds me of like Beetlejuice and stuff like that. It's literally named after Longlegs, Beetlejuice, right? And you only get them for so much, but it makes it so much more impactful when they're on screen. I wouldn't want him running amok the entire film.
Right. And honestly, the way he looks isn't nearly as terrifying as the way he sounds.
Yeah, but there is an explanation of why he looks the way he looks, which we'll get into. Maybe you know also, but the main actress Mika Monroe, which was usually good in other movies, is absolutely inexpressive and frankly boring to watch. In fact, the whole movie is absolutely boring. And I'll get into that a little bit more, but like there's a reason she acts the way she acts. Yeah. I still do not understand why divide it in chapters when the action is basically not changed. Well, because it's a 3-act play. Like that's a very common thing. It's 3 chapters, 3 acts, that's just what it is.
And I don't think you have to worry about like one of those acts being action packed either. No. It doesn't have like that traditional action movie climax and then figure it out.
Yeah. The writer-director has no idea about pace.
That's my favorite part of that.
Or even keep things interesting. The absurd end does not help either. Initially, when I saw this film, giving it a 10 the first time, right? I still was
like... You didn't even understand the ending.
The ending I didn't understand, but not understanding it, I was like, I just feel like I'm missing something. That's why I was just like, I feel like there is something I missed in this movie. Mm-hmm. Having seen it more and more, I do understand certain things, have come to conclusions and everything. But yeah, this person is a liar, and we are going to throw this directly into the trash.
I think it's funny that they even noted like Nick Cage is in it, Mika Monroe's in it, and she's a great actress and other stuff. So then to not even think like, oh, there's a reason why she's so stunted. Yeah. Just to be like, she's acting terribly. Like, no, there's a reason. And that's how I felt throughout a lot of it. Like, she wasn't like personable. She wasn't expressive. Okay, there has to be a reason for it. Not she's a bad actress.
Well, and it gives you 2 different reasons that you could say are the reason that she is the way she is. One, her upbringing, her mother and everything, right? Like there could be that. Like how many times can like certain style of parenting and stuff make very meek children, right?
Right.
So that could be.
Could have just been an odd duck.
Yeah, those characters exist. The other one, we're in spoiler territory, is that the hand of the devil is on her the entire time of the film. She is being led in all this stuff. That could 100% be the reason that she is void of emotion and stuff like that. And it's not until that hand is lifted from her for a bit that she actually does like exude emotion. So
you think the hand is lifted at some point?
When the doll is shot, you see the blackness come out of her.
Oh, you see her faint and then yeah.
But all right. So we'll get there, right?
Are we starting from the beginning? How are we doing?
Essentially, yeah. Let's just yeah. There's just a lot. So I love the way the movie starts. Right, starts in like the 4:3 kind of feel and everything, and you have the opening shot that you're in that car is from the doll's perspective. Because you see the shroud a little bit over the camera. Oh. You're watching it from the devil's perspective coming up to the house.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I didn't notice that until the last time. I was like, there's a shroud. Oh, shit, it's the fucking doll.
Wait a second.
Yep. And then, fucking little Lee Harker going out in the snow.
Just in general, I loved the way it was shot in the beginning. And I don't know if it was just me. Did you think that everything in this movie, cinematography wise, felt long?
Yeah, there was almost
like it almost looked like a really stunted fisheye camera lens that everything was shot in. I can't quite describe it, but there was something very unsettling just about right out of the gate, not even paying attention to what was on the screen, but how what was on the screen was shot was so cool.
There's a lot of just super subtle zooms that make you feel like uncomfortable because you're focusing here, but like you can feel your field of vision widening. But you're like, there are so many times that I was like looking literally at the corners of the screen to like focus, like, is this getting bigger? Specifically, like that opening, like the red and everything. At times it feels like it's getting wider and it isn't, but then there's other times that very unsettling, you know. And then you've got T-Rex just playing in the beginning and everything. Which is fucking great. There's a whole thing of that with like Osgood Perkins while writing this, like just got into T-Rex and was just like, oh fuck, this kind of works. And then he's telling Nick Cage about it. He's like, that's crazy that you're talking about that, because I was just talking to my son about a guitar solo in a T-Rex song. And like there's just like this weird, like, this film is T-Rex, which is like this like 60s 70s like kind of like pop folk rock act, like led by one man. And it's they did bang a gong. Oh yeah. Like, so very interesting like musical cues and stuff in this film, but like the overall soundscape and stuff was done by his brother Elvis Perkins, again going by the name Zilgi. So that's the name he goes by now. But yeah, it's the same guy that did all the music for Black Coat's Daughter and everything. So it's his brother, which I love that kind of stuff where it's just like a duo. I make the movies, you make the music.
Right.
But it adds the score and soundscape of this film. Like even when it does like it's kind of like pseudo psycho, like kind of stuff, like for like just like a split second during certain things, it works. It's just like, because it's Osgood said that like this is a horror film that knows it's a horror film. Like it knows it is. So like there are things like that just like if you're thinking of this as like, no, this is just a film, those like cues are like, that's corny. It's like, no, this movie knows it's a horror film and it's going to have some fucking cues and some like tropes that are just like, I like this, I like that, this is cool. Like the opening scene when we meet older Lee Harker is basically the same opening scene as Silence of the Lambs, where she's sitting there finding out who her partner is and all this stuff. Like Silence of the Lambs has a very similar kind of opening scene when we meet Clarice. But yeah, so okay, let's go back though. Little Lee Harker gets her first taste of Longlegs. Tasha, would you like to explain to me how you felt during this scene?
I felt very unsettled. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. I also, when Longlegs is behind her walking into the house, didn't notice it at the beginning, had to watch some things after I watched the movie, and it was like, holy shit, how did I miss this? Yep. But him walking up to her and the way that it's shot where you're just seeing his face, his lower face, his lower face, just his mouth. One, the fact that he's androgynous is kind of messes with your mind. The voice messes with your mind, the camera angle, like everything about that was just like, oh shit, here we go. I absolutely loved that. You said 4:3 angle. Like it was beautiful. It was terrifying. And I was ready to go after that part.
Well, yeah. And going back to like, you keep saying about like how he speaks and how unsettling it is. Some people believe that there's an extreme reason for that. So this is a man that has been leashed by the devil for long, like what was it, decades, I think is what they're saying, like 30 years or
since 20. The 60s, I think mid 60s was the first kill. So what they're saying, and you can see this later on in the film, where there are glimpses of like their real self and everything that come out,
They're saying his voice is like that because he's lost everything, and he's like literally crying through his existence because he knows what he's done, he knows what waits for him, all of this stuff. So like that's why his voice is like this, because he's literally losing like himself and everything. Like 20 some years of not being a serial killer, but being a puppet for the devil, because he was given a choice, which I'll get back to later, which is mentioned in the film, and that explains the end of the film.
Okay.
Because everyone's given a choice. You destroy yourself and everything, or you save it and you kneel down low, and you do the dirty work. That's what he did.
Right.
So he saved himself somehow. We don't know exactly.
He saved his life, but not his existence.
Yeah, he saved his life, but by doing so, he is now in servitude to the devil. So that's what Lee's mom does.
Right.
So she saves Lee, but now she's in servitude, and she has to keep killing these people to keep saving Lee.
So do you think, so this is something that I hadn't thought of. So Longlegs could technically be the end point of Lee's mom, and then Lee's mom is taking over, and then she will had she not been shot, she would have slowly then turned.
She already was, but keep going down that rabbit hole.
But I mean, like, slowly turned more and more like Longlegs, more odd, less like a human.
The odd face stuff, we'll hit on real quick. That's because he's like a glam rocker and all this stuff. And what they said, Osgood Perkins said, is he wanted somebody that was obsessed with youth and everything. So he was going to really cheap plastic surgeons in Oregon and just getting botch jobs after botch jobs after botch jobs. And as you see him progress, it's just more swollen age. Like when you see him in the past compared to now, it's just botched facial surgeries because he's so wrapped up in this like glam rock idea. Like when he gets picked up by the cops and stuff, he's got a briefcase full of his writings, and he's got a guitar case. He is still like a rock guy. Like his bedroom, which is in the basement of the Harker house, is is plastered with like T-Rex and Lou Reed and stuff, like all these like 60s and 70s rock icons. So he is that. And then with the Satanist kind of aspect to it, it's not that the devil itself has morphed his face. That's just him doing these things.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like he was doing it over time in favor of the devil.
That's not what Perkins has said with it. It's that it's specifically
so that's part of his personality, not necessarily having to do with the devil. It most likely would have happened.
Correct. This is probably like before the devil. He was already doing this like shitty, like he literally looked at like botched plastic surgery stuff to get the ideas of how to make him look.
Cool.
But yeah, like, so let's see here. I just want to kind of get this out of the way and we can talk. So we were already touching on it. So Longlegs is going to kill the Harker family, right? And Lee's mom basically says, I'll do whatever it takes to keep Lee alive. Because she straight up says, not every child gets to grow up. You know, she's talking about that stuff. So she is now in servitude to the devil because she protected Lee.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm giving my idea here.
I'm listening.
So Longlegs kills himself. Right?
Yes.
Smashes his face and everything, dead. Now, Lee's mom is top of the totem or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Going on doing her work because she just got to keep doing work for the devil. Like, that's it. It doesn't matter that it's going to be dolls or whatever. She just got to keep doing what the devil wants. At the end of the film, when they're at the birthday party, Lee is given a choice. to let her mom finish her work or save the child. So she saves the child. So what does that mean? That choice means.
Oh, do you think Lee is going to then be
Yes.
in servitude?
100%.
Okay. I had a feeling that, like, yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking that there was some way that it had to continue, but wasn't sure how. But yeah, because it would have been Longlegs to Lee's mom, and then Longlegs is gone, so it's Lee's mom to Lee.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
It straight up is like that this last time I was like, oh my God, it goes on. This is like beyond like what you see of being a downer ending. It's a downer ending because now Lee is going to be responsible for doing the devil's work to make sure that the child is saved. You know, like that's straight up what it is.
So the one thing that I really couldn't find anything on was her gun misfires when she goes to shoot the doll. Do you think that has anything to do with like
the devil?
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. That's an easy one.
That's how I look at it. Is like either it misfires or she's not pulling it all the way. I think it's just a misfire, and I think it's just the devil saying nope. No, because it's at that point, right? She's already made her decision. So now you're mine. You got to keep doing what I want.
You've made it. So why would you kill this doll or shoot this doll, destroy this doll when you're already like, this is your gig?
Yeah. If she wouldn't have killed her boss and her mom, right? If she wouldn't have made her decision to protect the girl, she could have killed the doll. I believe, right? But since she'd already signed her contract, like, and that's the thing that I love about this movie is it's not so blatant as you were given a choice. It's no, you were given a choice. You just weren't aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, no, you did what you think is right and more power to you. But now you work for me, motherfucker.
Now these are the consequences of your actions.
Yep.
Yeah. I wish they delved in more with the cipher because they had all of these, and you might have some information. They had all of these notes that no one could ever figure out. And I think I might have the answer now that I'm just thinking about it out loud. So she was able to just figure it out. And I remember her saying, and this stuck with me, I looked at it long enough.
Yeah.
I looked at it like, so is that another thing?
Just long enough.
Just long enough. So is this whole movie essentially like every situation can be kind of described just by it is just pure determinism from the gate? She was supposed to go through all of this, so she already had all of this information in her mind.
Yes, I believe so. Because the whole idea of her being psychic is not that she's psychic. She has, unbeknownst to her, like subconsciously, she has the answers that the devil wants her to have to get her to where she wants. Because the best way for me to look at it is if you believe in like God and the devil and all that stuff, and you think of like fate, right, or something like that, it doesn't matter what she does because the devil has already put his eye on her, and he didn't get her the first time, so he's going to get her some other way. So by doing X, Y, and Z, it puts all the cards in or all the, you know, whatever pieces in row that, okay, well, she's going to get to this point and she's going to become an FBI agent. And because she's an FBI agent, she's going to end up dealing with this stuff, and I'll get her that way. And that's why, like, the first time they see the house at the beginning, which is a completely different thing. That's not Longlegs. It's just another thing. This guy's armed and dangerous, all this stuff. And he blows away the first guy, like, right off the rip, which I remember seeing the first time, just being like, holy shit, this is what we're doing now. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when she comes in, he's just like, yep. Take me, whatever. That's again devil's influence. Like, no, I'm going to make sure you're safe to Lee, and we're going to deal with this. Like, that's how a lot of this goes. And then she ends up doing the photo thing, like where they're just clipping, like, all right, what does this make you think? What does this make you think? All of those different things are references to what is going to happen in the film. Tiger. She sees one thing, says tiger. That's the that's the bedding that he has downstairs. It's like like animal print door. That is, you know, the door going downstairs.
Okay.
The triangle, the upside down triangle, father, Satan.
Yeah.
Like mother, like all of these things. It's every single piece is a reference to it's the mom doing this. Father is Satan because he's the one that's protected me. I can't remember. There might be one that's camera or picture or something like that. The camera family.
Yeah.
Like it's all of that. And then when it's like pick a number between 0 and 100, 33 in numerology and stuff is considered to be a like, I don't want to say lucky number, but a faithful number, right? And 0 is Omega. It is like the end, like nothing.
Oh yeah, Alpha and Omega. That's right.
Yeah, so it's like hell. So like all of those things are like that one scene is literally here is the entire story of the movie, which is insane. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is this scene? It does not make sense. It's not really referenced too much beyond the next scene where it's like, I heard you beat the number generator 8 times. And that's where you get like the half psychic stuff. And it's like, yeah, not psychic, led by the devil.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
There's a part though that like, I get it, you're led by the devil, but honestly, I'm going to be that person.
You be that person.
I wish that wasn't the only through line. I don't know what else it could have been, but now for everything to just be rationalized she was led by the devil.
This is my interpretation of it. Like, that's not, like, I haven't seen that. That's just my interpretation of, like, this all makes sense. It's the Occam's razor of the most obvious solution is, like, so that's mine. Is like, well, fuck, it's got to be that because that's what makes sense to me. It's obvious.
And like I said, I don't know what else it could have been. I just wish it wasn't the same. Possibly this, because I did a little bit of background too, just to make sure like I understood what was happening. Yeah. And that's a pretty common through line that people are piecing together, which I mean, cool. But I just wish, I don't know. When it comes to like devil stuff and like possession, that's like not my jam.
I know.
I just wanted it to be just a touch more.
I'm usually not either, but when it's done in this way, it is so fucking smart. That's my big thing. I
agree with that.
It's not like the devil, woo! You know, like I mean, but it kind of is because the devil
in the shadows.
10 different times I have here that he's in the back, and I knew that he was in the background so many times. This last time I watched it, I still couldn't find him every time.
I definitely didn't count 10. I think I got maybe 4.
I think I have a list here. Yeah, okay, so we can go through this.
Please.
So a shadowy, horned, goat-like creature representing Satan is present throughout the film a total of 10 times, particularly when Agent Harker is investigating the satanic elements of the crime. Ooh, here's something else that I don't have here, but I remembered. Every time she has like this premonition, he kind of like look to her and everything, she always looks over her left shoulder, which is the shoulder that your devil lives on. You have an angel on your right shoulder and you have devil on your left because the left hand path is the devil's path. So she's like, it's that kind of shit.
That's cool. That's cool.
But the creature's appearance were meant to be subliminal and not readily apparent to the audience. So here we go. 1, when Harker is shooting on the floor reviewing case files. Mm-hmm. So he's there.
I saw then.
Did you? I didn't see that. Yeah. 2, in the woods outside her cabin home. I saw that one.
Yeah.
The kitchen where Harker is reading the card left for her by Longlegs.
No, and god damn it, I was looking. I stared into that kitchen expecting something to happen, and I didn't even see.
I don't believe it's in the. It does say it's in the kitchen. Yeah, I didn't see it.
The way that was shot, I knew there had to be something. I was waiting for something to shift. I was waiting for something to come through. Very like Strangers-esque. God damn it.
In Longlegs' basement by the staircase. In the window between 2 bookcases when she is investigating the library. I saw that one because it's actually pulls back.
Oh, yes. Maybe?
In the small window of the kitchen's rear entrance door. During Harker's childhood bedroom flashback in the doorway. That one's like probably the biggest, most obvious one. Okay, when it's the flashback of her as a child, it's like looming really big over her. In the window of the basement's foyer at Harker's mother's house. Like, it's fucking everywhere.
Nope.
In Lee's childhood bedroom, when the mother is revealing the story of the doll maker.
Yes, I saw that one.
And in the reflection of the front door of the Carter home as it's being closed at the end of the film. I didn't fucking notice that. I'm going to have to watch this again with that list just there. I wish there was a special features of just like, where's the devil? And you just click it and it just shows you like, motherfucker.
Yeah. It like does the outline like a kid's game.
Yeah. Oh, you missed the devil again. And there's all sorts of shit like that. Like when Lee enters her mom's house at the end of the film, all three hands of the clock over the archway are set to 6. So it's 666 again. Like it's so fucking good. There are certain things in this film that I just like. I wish they could have done it a little better. Like when mom's telling Lee the story of, and nobody came and she used to be a nurse and now she kills families. There's a better way to word that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so fucking heavy handed. But yeah, the psychic test, the words, I do have it here. It's camera, table, door, mother, father, piano. So the piano is seen in a scene, like there's specific things, like there is a piano in the room. I believe it's at her boss's house, maybe during everything. Like it's every little, it's not always the obvious thing. It's just a little, kind of think of it like when you try to remember things when you're a kid, but all you can remember is like the smell of toast or something like that. It's very like on the outside.
So it's not necessarily they say these words and then those are like little nuggets that you should pay attention to. It's just like a nod.
Yeah, it's just like, because like even the thing of when she's talking to was it Kierna Shipka? I think that's her name. At the psych ward and stuff, she's talking about like, do you remember this kind of stuff? It's like, no, but you don't either. Like she knows that like they're the same character essentially.
Yeah.
Like, because they've both had the hand on them, and then she ends up killing herself because that's what the devil wants, because I'd be pleased as peaches to do whatever he says. Like
her language was so creepy. Yeah. Like talking about just how if I have to murder you, I'll be pleased as peaches to do it.
Yep. It's so fucking weird. Like,
so she mentions like in that scene, thank you for bringing that up. She mentions like, I know you, I recognize you, or somebody like you. Is she referring to the doll in that?
She's talking about her mom. She's talking about Harker's mom.
Oh, shit.
Because she came to the house.
She looks like her mom. Got it. Okay.
You didn't come by my house? Because remember, she's been in a coma for all this time. So it's like, at what point is she talking? It's like, she's talking about when she came and it was like, you won, like this whole thing, the doll. Like that's what she remembers, her mom coming to the door.
Gotcha.
So fucking creepy. Like there are very few films that what's the way to put it? I can't think right now of a film that I think is creepier than this movie, because like I don't know, like, because like the Blair Witch Project's creepy, but it like at times gets boring and stuff. This movie for me does not get boring. It just gets creepier. Yeah. Like it just keeps getting like, what the fuck is going on? Why? I
think if you watch it at face value, it can get boring.
100%.
But if you go into it knowing that you have to be a detective of the movie, then it's definitely more enjoyable to watch.
Which kind of makes you the FBI agent if you really think about it. Now you got to be the investigator on this there film. But because I'll tell you right now, it is scary being a lady FBI agent.
Says the one man on this podcast.
Where is he? Is he behind me? Is the horned thing behind? He's behind me, isn't he?
He's right there. Yeah.
But yeah, how about those Longlegs singing scenes?
The worst of it, and by worst I mean the best of it.
Daddy, Mommy, unmake me and save me from the hell of living.
Did Osgood Perkins just let Nick Cage be Nick Cage?
Yeah, he said when you have a lion on stage, how much does the Wrangler actually get to do? He wrote what he was supposed to say, but he did not have him do these the way that he does. Like, that whole thing was just like, daddy, mommy, unmake me and save me from the hell of living. And Nicolas Cage fucking does what Nicolas Cage does and be the best goddamn actor that has ever walked the face of the earth.
You know, I'm starting to be swayed. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. He's between this and Mandy. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I did see an interview where Nick Cage mentioned that he doesn't want to play a serial killer again.
Yeah.
Quote, because I don't like violence.
I don't like violence and I don't want to hurt people.
I can understand that I don't want to hurt people, but for him to say I don't like violence and then to be in Mandy.
That was then. That was then. This is now. He's just saying at this point now he doesn't want to. I mean, he was also in Face Off and Con Air.
Yeah. He's
but
so
now
good in Con Air.
he's now over all that stuff. He's
older and a more mellow life.
Yeah.
But no, those singing bits were what made the movie as creepy as it was, because you didn't know when it was coming, and it was just so out of the blue.
It's so abrupt,
so intense. Yeah.
And so well done too. Like
of course
it could be done in a way that's just like laughable, but it's not, because it's not done all the time. It's just like really out there and just like, what the fuck is going on? So like when Longlegs and Agent Harker are meeting, I have the entire back and forth in front of me. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
I do have a question about this time.
Okay. Do you want to ask, or do you want me to go through a little bit? So
go through it.
Okay. So Longlegs is like, oh, there she is, the almost birthday girl. Oh, it's funny. The day you decided to go into law enforcement, you were 20. We had such a big laugh about it, though it was only me who laughed, not she. So he's like literally talking about like learning this stuff from Lee's mom and everything. And he thinks it's so funny, but she's horrified because like, yeah, the first time I saw this, I was just like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Right.
You know,
it almost seems like he's speaking in prose, like it's all like a poem there, but you have to like really decipher everything he's saying.
Yeah. And like, when she asks about it, he says, the seventh she to be given the same choice they've all been given. So Lee's mom is the seventh person to be given the choice from Longlegs. So she's the seventh she that was given the same choice they've all been given. Crimson or Clover, accept the gift and destroy. Destroy yourself and yourselves. Or keep it and bow down. Bow all the way down and get right down to the dirty, dirty work. The work that gets dirty as it cleans, like a mop, like a rag. Fucking the greatest line in this movie. It is so menacing.
And I want to know what the Crimson and Clover component is.
Crimson,
why
blood. Clover, like
purity.
So you're given the choice of like and plus it's another thing of it's a lean into a song, Crimson and Clover, that would have been out around the time of Longlegs, you know, all of that stuff. So it again kind of leads into all that stuff. But yeah, like literally saying like you can either kill yourself and kill your family, and that's that. You know, it's horrible, but that's it. Or you can save your family or your child or whatever it is. And now you're working for the man downstairs, the friend of a friend of a friend, you know, Mr. Downstairs, like all that.
I like referring to Satan as Mr. Downstairs.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my God.
Pause.
Okay. Here, hold on.
Just
so yeah, like, and then he's just like talking about all the houses. The eighth house, yours was wider than a fish's throat, like all of that stuff. Like, and I look at that, like when he's talking about it, it's like, it's so enticing. Your house was so enticing is how it looks to me.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like, that's why it's like in that house, the house, and then house number 8 was so whiter than a fish's throat, whiter than tits. I knew then that the work we were doing was immaculate. So like,
and I saw it as the opposite of, because how mom's always mentioning like, say your prayers, blah, blah, blah. I thought of it as like, this house is so white, so pure, so faithful. Therefore, it's so enticing.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. It's so good. Like, because it's in the eyes of the devil, what the higher the faith, the tastier the corruption, you know, like that kind of idea. So, oh God. But yeah, like, but your work's over, it's done, and you're going to be in here for the rest of your life. Says, yes, I'm done, but I won't be in here. I'll be a little bit of everywhere, waiting in the wings, in the Father's wings. And
his mom made reference to that too, of like, you killed him, now he's everywhere or something like that, right?
Yeah, and what I think that is just like, well, now, you know, his hand will move to wherever it likes now. So it's one of those things where this is just me. Like, this is not fact. Yeah. This is just like my interpretation of it. Is, with that being said, it's like, if Longlegs would have never killed himself, because she didn't kill him, right? But if Longlegs would have never been caught, granted, got caught because mom told Longlegs, hey, they're on to you, you need to skip town. And that's why he goes to the bus stop.
See, I feel like he was there not to be picked up by the bus, but there's something about the intentionality of him being there that makes it seem, because he had the car, so why would he hitch a bus when he could just drive away?
Well, no, I'm not saying he's hopping a bus, but like, it's just like, I'm going to the bus stop he's going to get caught. Like, there's no...
Right, so it seemed like he was there waiting to get caught. So that whole component, I don't know if it's just like he's just done, like, I can't do this anymore. One little human aspect of it.
His part is done in the devil's work. You're gonna give yourself up. I don't think that he kills himself. I think that's the devil killing him, because he's like in so much, like when he smashes his face, you can see that terror in his face, and it keeps happening. Why? Because by him dying, now the next chapter of the devil's work can get moving to get Lee. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's what it is, because she is so enticing. Remember, that house, the whitest house, the most tasty thing. I need that.
So at that point, it's not necessarily about continuing the work. It's still just about getting Lee. Okay.
At this point, because this is the thing, is like, for us as humans and stuff, like, it's like, really, you're going to work for 30 years to get this one girl, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you think the devil's real and stuff, time is infinite and all this stuff, like, that probably takes no work. It's just like, oh, just set these things in line and then we'll get there.
And it was a task that was started that wasn't finished.
Yeah. Super simple. And once the girl came out of the coma and stuff, Lee Harker gives a visit, but it's not Lee Harker, so it's either Longlegs or it's something else that's using her name.
I feel that it was clearly Longlegs.
Yeah, but it's
talking to her to then end herself.
Yeah, and it's basically just the devil working through Longlegs, saying like, hey, welcome back on this date, you know, this is what's going to happen. And it doesn't even have to say it. It's just like, okay, cool. And then on the on the 13th, which was the day that was missing, she jumps off the roof. Like, it just keeps lining itself up.
Why was the doll hidden?
That I'm not sure. I think that's Longlegs hiding it later on, because
once again, just to keep everything in. This is a story that has already been written. All the pieces are falling in place. Lee has to find that doll.
Something, yeah. Like,
it all goes back to that.
Because X marks the spot, and it's at the camera. Like, he's leading her to it. It's not like they're happening upon this stuff. Everything that they're finding, the devil is literally like, go here now. Go here now. Now here. And it's that idea of being baited. You think that you're going down this path of like, okay, if I do this, I'll find this, and I'll ultimately defeat evil. And it's like, haha, wolf in sheep's clothing.
Okay. So it's a cat and mouse game, but it's the whole thing from literal start to finish is Longlegs sees Lee, and the whole movie is circling back to Lee.
Yep.
Okay.
You say cat and mouse, I say mouse and mouse trap.
Yeah, that's better.
Like, because it's not like trying to outsmart the devil. It is literally like
You're like getting like herded into.
Correct. Yeah, that's fucking yeah. So, and I can understand, you know, this isn't for some people. This movie is tailor-made for me. Like from top to bottom, because this is what I love about certain movies, when, you know, you get like a cool like surface level thing, and the more you look into it, the more it gives you. And I understand people don't want that. You know, people want a more like, I watched it, that was cool, and that's it. My personality of hyperfixation and stuff like that makes this movie for me. You know, like I could go into this. There's going to be, this is so stupid, but it's like there's going to be people like writing papers like at universities and like this. I can see this movie being taught and for like certain like styles of storytelling and everything.
Yeah.
And that's not me trying to be like, oh, this movie, it's not meant to be like that, but it's like, I can see that being the case because it is a deep narrative film.
Yeah. I was excited. This movie, after watching it, made me want to look more into it. When I looked more into it, though, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, these are storylines. These are little bits that I didn't get. It wasn't, I don't know, it didn't give me that extra excitement. And I don't know what, that's another thing. I don't know what would have, but like I wanted to learn more. I learned more and then was just kind of like, oh.
Okay.
Okay.
It's what's the best way to put it? And this is no spoilers for Alien Romulus, but Alien Romulus comes to a conclusion in that film. That makes sense if you've seen like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, but ultimately it's not an ending that I wanted, but it makes sense. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not the ending I wanted. It's not necessarily a bad ending, but it's they went a route that I didn't want to go. And that's how I feel that you probably kind of are with this. It's like, oh, it's this? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what I couldn't rewrite it. I couldn't give a alternate explanation.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like this movie is a house of cards, right?
Yeah.
You have to take it for what it is, because if you remove a card, it's all going to fall apart. It's not going to be what it is. And if you don't like this house of cards, then you don't like this house of cards. But like by being like, well, it's not the devil, it's this, then everything else that's built around this thing doesn't work.
Right. I do like that things weren't handed to you. I do like that the watcher had to pay attention, and Osgood Perkins like gave it to the audience to figure out instead of handing it to them. Like left it to the audience to figure out instead of handing it to them. I like that component of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
One thing I will say, one more thing.
Yeah.
I wish there was an explanation as to why Longlegs is called Longlegs, because I don't like the explanation of it. Just sounded good.
There isn't. There is an explanation that people have said. So Longlegs is that's still the devil, right? Like speaking through Cobble, right? Because you only get his name once. He's like, oh, I wore my long legs. I should have wore my short legs. Those short legs are the dolls. The short legs are the doll's legs.
The long legs are the adult man legs.
Yeah, the human adult legs are his long legs, because that's the devil talking.
I like it.
Hey there, Angel.
Okay, I'm satisfied now.
I have been satiated.
Yeah, because I heard, I don't know if it was an interview with Perkins or someone had heard something that he said it just had a good sound to it.
Yeah, and like I said, like that's just people online have said that, but it makes 100% sense. Like I'm just like, yep, that's fact. Like that's how I look at a lot of stuff in this movie. It works. Yep, fact. Yeah. Osgood Perkins could just be like, well, no, it's like you don't know what you're talking about. It's like I wrote and directed it. I'm like, yeah, but fuck you, man.
Yeah, I don't care what you say it is. This is what I want it to be. Therefore, it is.
And not that I necessarily want this, but Osgood Perkins has said that this isn't necessarily the end of Longlegs. So with that, like Longlegs 2, the Electric Boogaloo, could just be Lee Harker 10, 20 years down the road doing the devil's work and shit going on and everything. Now, I don't think that necessarily means that he's going to make another movie or anything like that, but like the idea of like, this isn't the end of Longlegs. He could make another movie because, like I said, like she was given the choice. She chose poorly, technically. So yeah, it continues. It is a vicious cycle that will never end.
Yeah. And I like it when movies end like that. It can go on. I did see that there was, you were talking about the interrogation room scene. Mm-hmm. I saw that there was not only that little minute snippet where they're watching like his recording.
Yeah.
There's like 25 minutes of that. So
yes,
where Nick Cage just did his thing.
Yep. And
no one wanted to stop him.
Yeah, no one wanted to stop him. Just let him go. And then also, it's completely on accident. But like when like they didn't have it blue screened, like they usually do that. Like they'll just blue screen and that recording like on a television. They actually had it showing while it was going on. When he's looking, you'll be there and you'll be there. He's talking to Lee and her boss and everything because he's talking about the birthday party that's going to be happening later. And that was on accident that he was actually looking at them saying those things. And it just fucking worked out that he's just like, yeah, this is fucking great. There were a lot of like happy accidents on this film.
And I thought that was intentional, just like he knew what was happening.
Yeah. So talking about like all those like happy accidents and stuff like that, this wasn't necessarily a happy accident, but it was like almost like serendipitous. So the snow at the beginning of the film, right? There was no snow the day before, and they wrote it to be snowing and everything, and it didn't work. And it snowed heavily the night before that scene, because like I said, they only had Nicolas Cage for 2 weeks. So they had to have these things set up, and they were like, fuck, how are we going to do this? We want it to look this way. And that snow is real. Like, that is a full-on snowfall. And then it rained the next day, and it cleared it all away.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is very serendipitous.
The devil wanted this movie to be the way it is.
Right. The universe was working for the devil.
Yes, the Unibus.
Damn it.
What bus do you take? I take the Unibus.
The Unibus. This is great.
But yeah. So I don't know what else to say about this movie. I could talk about this for fucking
all the little bits.
Do you have anything else that you want to get off of your chest about this film, pros or cons? And I won't try to sell you either way, and then we can get into our reviews.
I mean, like I said, the biggest thing is I don't necessarily care for the devil made me do it storylines. Other than that, it's a great procedural. It's a great crime movie. I'm surprised you didn't mention my love of face smashing when
God
smashed his face.
How did you like it?
It was good.
Was it a good face smash?
It was a good face smash.
I have failed this podcast. So yeah, going with your running trend of face smashy films, yeah.
There's something about it. Face smashing and cannibalism are those ones that are just so bad. They do exactly what they need to do, and they really get me. This is my favorite Osgood Perkins movie. I'm definitely more of a, Mike Flanagan kind of hand it to you type of person. But face value, this movie is really good. Learning more about it, like I said, I learned more about it, which is awesome. A lot of that stuff you don't know as a viewer unless you're just picking it apart. And if that's what you want to do going into this movie, I think if you're picking apart every little detail and every scene to find those little Easter eggs, that then takes away the storyline. It's either you watch it as a story or you go back through and watch it as a seek and find.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think it is, though, what's the way to put it? Considering you did research on it, you can't do this because you already know all these things and everything. But I can attest, because the second time I watched this, it was specifically because I was like, I feel like I missed something. And I watched it again, but knowing how it plays out and getting to rewatch it again, so much more of it makes sense. I don't think you need to deep dive it to get everything, but deep diving it allows you to really build so much more. This is like a conspiracy theory almost movie where you can just be but.
And if that's what you want to do, cool. Yeah, I totally agree. This kind of has similarities to like Midsummer, in a way that, like you said, in that beginning scene, everything's handed to you.
Yeah.
And then it's on the viewer to find all of those nuggets.
Yeah.
That happens in Midsummer too. And I think just Midsummer just like plays more to my, like, what I like about it. But that same idea of,
yeah, because it's
here's
cult.
Here's everything you need.
Yes.
Now go remember that later.
Yeah.
And when I heard that this movie was cultist vibes, I got super excited. And maybe that's the part of it. It's cultist vibes, but it's satanic cultist vibes, which is kind of just like.
But can a cult just be a cult? It doesn't matter what their thing is. It's still the allegiance to something, you know. So, hail Satan.
That. I wish it was more, I don't know, like the void culty.
Oh, you like it being ambiguous?
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's perfect. Yes. I don't like it that it's kind of this generic Satanist.
Again, I'm not trying to sell you on it, but it makes sense why it is, though. Right? Like, because like I said earlier, like if you made this, what did I just say?
Ambiguous.
If you made this ambiguous, then you pull out so many more cards out of it, and then it's a completely different film. Which there probably is a movie that's probably more like that you would dig more or whatever. So you're just
because I like the psychological like underpinnings, the psychological like it has a hold on your psyche vibes. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't necessarily have to be Satan.
You're just going to have to get down and do the dirty work, the dirty work to find that movie.
Like a mop. Oh, that was so good.
See, and that's the thing with Osgood Perkins. That motherfucker can write some dialogue that's insanely captivating and creepy. And he seems like a fucking cool guy, right? Like I've seen interviews with him, but my God, if this is the shit that's coming out of his mind, and I'm not saying like it's like, oh my God, it's so fucked up. No, it's the way things are worded and everything. It is so menacing. I don't know if I want to get a beer with this guy anymore.
You could go down a dark hallway really quickly with this guy.
This is the credit card that pays all the way down.
Dude, chill out.
Dude, I just wanted to have a beer with you. God damn. It does the dirty work and pays all the bills. Shut up, Osgood. We've heard enough. Somebody get this man out of here.
We are done.
All right, so we know what our preconceived scores were. So we're going to get into reviews. Tasha, I think you said a 7.5 initially.
I did.
I think you're going to probably give it an 8.
I'm sticking with a 7.5.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because like I said, I did the deep dive. I bet, I want to say, had I figured it out on my own, it would be more gratifying.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
I thought maybe you'd give it a half. I thought you'd give it a half extra point because you found out what long legs means.
I'm gonna give it an extra 2.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.75 because yes, that was a big like, holy shit, how exciting.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, if I got the idea of it, I just wasn't happy with the idea.
Fair. That's fair. Would you suggest this for people to watch?
I think so. Yeah. It
would
covers
you give
a lot
them a caveat though about watching it? Or would you just be like, yeah, it's good, check it out? Or would you
I think for people
training wheels to it?
I think for people that I know enjoy film, I would give the caveat like you gave me of pay close attention. There's more than what meets the eye. And I think for other people, like I could probably show this to somebody that I know that likes crime procedurals and just be like, here, watch this. And I think they would still get something out of it.
What do you think Mom's take on this would be? Do you think she would like it?
I think she would like it.
Yeah, I think she would too.
It's got all her favorite things. It's got crime. It's got the FBI. It's got Satan.
Mom being a devout, fair weather Christian lady. Loves herself some Satan.
She really does. If it has Satan's hold on it, she's going to watch it.
I'll bring this to Thanksgiving.
It
doesn't mean we'll watch it, but I'll at least let her borrow it. And like, all right.
Put a bow on it.
Yeah, watch this. Talk to me later. You can come to class and I can tell you some stuff, and then you can rewatch it, and then you could be like, this movie's evil. I love it.
But you're definitely in the camp of people that love this movie. Drew posted on Facebook that we were watching it, and one of his friends was like, I love talking about this.
Yeah.
Much like you do. So you either have those that are like you have three camps. The ones that are like the 1 out of 10s, this movie's stupid, no one understands pacing or acting. And then you have me kind of in the middle, like, yeah, it was good. And then you have the people that are just like, this movie is phenomenal because of XYZ,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of cool how it is such a seemingly polarizing movie, which a lot of movies don't have that. So this is
correct.
Like with that's a really cool addition.
It 100% is it gives you as much as you want out of it.
Yeah.
Like you get what you want out of it. Like if you wanted a lot out of it, it's got that. But if you just want surface value, it's that. But if you don't like the surface value of it, then you're not going to like it.
Right. Yeah. And it does do a disservice with everyone saying that it's the scariest movie because it's not scary.
No, I can see it being scary to people, but no, for me, it's creepy.
Right. Visually, it's not scary. I wasn't scared. I was unsettled. And those are two different feelings. And if you don't understand unsettled, you're just going to be bored.
I mean, you do get an axe murdering scene. You get a shotgun blast to the face.
But they're so fast.
I know, and they're so abrupt. So, like, if that's scary to you and stuff, scary is in the eye of the beholder, you know?
Honestly, forgot about those scenes.
Really?
Yeah, that's not what set with me. It was
100%.
It was Nick Cage's singing that is just the basement and him are the best parts of this movie.
When I realized that basement was the Harker basement, I fucking shit my pants.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
He's under you. Like where they're in, like just all of those little phrases. He's Mr. Downstairs. He's right underneath your feet when he's in the FBI's building. All of that. It's just like they're giving it to you. You just don't know it until the very end.
Yeah. All right. What are you thinking on me?
I think you gave it a 9.5.
I'm giving it a 10.
Jeez, okay.
I can't help it. I was trying to bring myself down to a 9.5 and stuff. I was like, why? Why am I doing that? Like, what? Fuck it. Like, just give it a 10. Like, you like it. You fucking love this movie. Just give it a fucking 10. I got the poster from the movie theater hanging up in my basement. Like, it's right over there. And I'm super excited about it. I love it. I love this movie. Like, Nicolas Cage in the last 10 years has done some of the greatest fucking horror films of my taste. Because
Nick, you are Mr. Downstairs.
Oh, I am
downstairs.
I am Mr. Downstairs. I can sleep easy now. It's all come to this, guys. It has all come to this. I'm the one that Nick Cage has talked about in this whole film. Yeah. Oh my God, it makes so much sense now.
Whoa. Sorry I cut you off, but
no,
it just dawned on me.
That was a gift. That was a birthday gift. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, what?
Now I'm getting excited. I have one more thing to say because as I did this, I thought of that also creepy
the cuckoo
scene. Did you know the reference to the cuckoo bird and what Nick Cage is doing?
Not 100%. What's up?
So I'll give you a little bit before we do the last review. Yeah. So cuckoo birds lay their eggs in other birds' nests.
Oh my fucking God.
It gets worse. So this goes back to Mr. Downstairs. So then when all of the birds hatch, the cuckoo bird is naturally known, part of its just what's already going on in its head, knows to push the other birds out of the nest. Then the parent bird will feed that baby and raise it as its own.
Oh my fucking God.
So even the cuckooing
Jesus I'm so glad I gave this a 10. I'm so glad I gave this a 10. It's so fucking...
That is one of my favorite parts of Nick Cage's character, cuckooing.
And that's so... Oh my God. I feel like such a douchebag. You know what?
I'm going to give it an 8. Yes! I'm going to give it an 8.
Yes! This goddamn movie rules.
That part was really, really cool when I found that out.
That's so cool. So IMDb rates this still for a horror film, still rates it pretty high. It's a 6.7. We we like this more than the natural person. So take that with a grain of salt. But also it's also though because we get off on that, like the cuckoo bird thing, like, oh, that's so fucking cool. Oh, that's on everybody though, right?
Yeah.
So
6.7.
let's see if your numbers work this time. Do you know how to do percentages?
Only had to redo it a few times.
So what's that?
But I did it before saying it.
I think we're in Hall of Fame territory.
Right.
Where are we
Is
at?
it an 82?
God damn right. Yes, Hall of Fame. You will like this, Millie. It's so good. Yeah. So,
dude, I won't be able to hear like hairband, high pitched scream, like almost falsettos for a very long time. Because, dude, that's the best part of the movie.
yeah, when he's like, I'll come back as many times as I like that is so fucking
So menacing.
creepy. But I can understand someone seeing that and being like, that's fucking dumb. But like, it makes sense to me. It just works for me. I can't explain it. It works for me, you know?
Me too.
So, well, kids.
Anyway.
We had a good
bring
time.
it down.
Yeah, we talked about Longlegs, so let's get it out of our system. One more time. There you go. We are going to go on for homework next week on essentially a Natasha pick, whether she knows that she likes this director. So we're going to be watching Gerald's Game. So we're going back to some Mike Flanagan, which is Natasha's senpai. That's
I
her
do
fucking
like
jam.
him. Yeah.
So we're going to be watching that next week for homework. So I believe that this is findable like on Netflix and shit like that. Like it's an easily findable movie. I've never seen this. Tasha, have you seen it?
Bits and pieces.
Okay, cool. I know the concept of it and everything. So I am excited to get down and do the dirty work. The dirty work.
God.
I'm ruined. I'm forever ruined. So that's what we're going to be covering for next week for Pod of the Dead. I am Nicholas.
I'm Natasha.
Come back and listen to us. Or else.